Good morning. Today is day 96, heading out from New Hampshire. It's Route 2, going up to, I don't know, about an 11-mile day, hopefully. My pack has 4 days worth of food that weighs about 37 pounds. So it's a pretty full pack. I have to hike down the side of the road for just a little bit, and then on into the woods I will go. Somebody said, back there earlier. Okay, now that the trucks have gone by, back there earlier was the 1900-mile mark for those that have hiked continuously from Springer Mountain. For me, I have gone over the 1300-mile mark. So I am getting there. No, maybe 14. I think I've gone over 14. I'll have to double check that. Maybe 14 I've finally gone over. But sometimes I just have to remind myself, not only one day at a time, but one step at a time. About 128 miles of this really rough stuff left, then it'll get a little bit easier. So our road walk brings us beside a hydro station. A lot of water coming through there. Imagine all that water rushing through when they open up the gates. All right, here I go into the woods, and I'm gonna start my first steep climb. The mental preparation is knowing that about 10 hours from now, or maybe even 11, I'll be getting to my shelter. So, away I go. I'm already huffing and puffing up this first bit. Not too bad, not any boulder scrambles yet. I'm not gonna record. I don't need you to hear me huffing and puffing. No boulder scrambles just yet. Just continuing this climb. A lot of roots and rocks. I think right now there have been more roots than rocks. But I know by the time I start climbing Mount Success, there will be a lot of boulders, scrambles going on. It's pretty humid today. The hostel owner, Paul, was telling us on the news, it said starting tomorrow, in the next 4 to 5 days, the temperatures are going to be in the 90s with high humidity. I'm going to have to, when I do find a water source, carry more water than normal because of that. Looks like a good place for my first break right here. Sit on that rock, have a little snack, some water. Whew. I've come to an opening here with a little bit of a view. I think I might be coming to a clearing area up here, maybe see if I have a view. Waiting to see where the trail goes here. There's a cairn over this way. Oh, there we go. Got a little blaze here that's showing me take a turn. There we go. Oh, there's a cairn down that way too. So I'm guessing this is the view I get. A little bit of a mountain there. I would be very excited if the rest of today was like it has been so far. A few rock scrambles, but not hours on end of rock scrambles. So this has been very nice. Another cairn. Oh, I see a blaze down there in a tree. But definitely very rooty, which I remember Maine was last year when I did those 85 miles of Maine. A lot of roots. Well, I had a protein bar, so I lightened my load by a couple ounces. I was able to pack out a couple roast beef sandwiches with provolone cheese and mayonnaise. So I'll have that for lunch today. Not time for lunch yet. Try and wait a couple more hours. Normally I'll have a breakfast, 2 snacks, then a lunch, a couple more snacks, and then normally at that point I buy a campsite or a shelter and having my dinner. Took a couple Tylenol earlier. I have a headache. Normally I don't get headaches, but I have a bit of a headache. That sounds kind of strange, but I feel like my eyes are bugging out of my head today. So I don't know, maybe. And I already had almost a whole liter of water. So I have to start rationing what I do have left, because comments are showing that any of the water supplies along the way, such as little creeks or streams, are already dried up. I haven't had rain here in over a week, and so all the little streams dry up. So right now the only place I'll be able to get water will be at my the shelter, which is still 8 miles away. Coming to another clearing here. Let's see what we got. All right, this will be my SOBO trail is what I'm following now. Trident Call campsite. Gentian, not sure how I say it. Gentian Pond Campsite 7.9. That's the one I'm headed to. A little bit of a view there. But this is the direction I have to go. It points this way, so let's see where I'm going this way. There's a blaze. All right. It's always more reassuring when you see a blaze on one of the trees or a rock. See a blaze right up there. Little tiny cairn. Yeah, it's very nice when they have the markers out like this, because you get up on all these slabs of rocks and you can start down some false trails. They look like they're trails at first, and then you start down it and it comes to a dead end. Okay, I'm going to put this back away for a little bit. If I'm grading my directions right, way over there in the clouds, up in the top is in the clouds, is Mount Washington. Not quite sure what that village is down there. If that's Gorham or not. An open view here, looking south. I'm hoping that the streams in about a mile from here have any kind of water in them. One of the comments says if you go 20 feet down the last stream, I think there's 2 of them, so if you go 20 feet down the second stream, there should be a nice big pool of water that's drinkable. I could go ahead and filter. I don't normally drink as much water as I have been drinking today. And I know I have to ration it, because if there's not any at that stream, literally it was the 11 miles before water. I'm counting on that stream that it will have something. It may take me a half hour to get half a liter, but that's all right. I'll need to get some. A beautiful view out here. Just stepped out of the woods onto this open slab area. Very pretty. Definitely warm. Holy cow. When I came around the corner there, and I say corner because it was quite a turn in the trail. And when I came around it was like, wow, you could just feel the heat. But at least there is a breeze, which is good. I stopped and ate probably half my sandwich, if that much. I just didn't feel very hungry. I mean, I felt kind of hungry, so I started eating, and then I'm like, well, I'm not hungry, so put it away. But up here, just keep stopping. It was a nice break. Took about a 15-minute break. It helps revive me and give my legs some rest, and lets me feel feel a little perkier when I get going again. So hard when things are angled like this. The weight of my pack, it just keeps shoving me sideways. Okay, I have no idea where I'm going here. Hopefully I don't fall. Drop my phone. So it's a little after 12:30 in the afternoon. I passed the first campsite area, Trident Col, C-O-L, Trident Col campsite. But it's too early for me to stop, so I'm going to go on to the next one, which is a shelter, Galatian, something like that, pond shelter. Anyway, still 4.9 miles to go. So even if I go 1 mile per hour or a little bit less, by 6:30 I should be there, hopefully. I'm going to shut this off. I've got a really steep down here, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Come across the pond here. I thought it'd been really neat if I could see a moose out there somewhere, but I don't see one at all. Maybe it's too hot right now, the heat of the day, and they know to stay in the woods. I came around the corner into this little area. It's nice and dark and mossy. I think I'm just going to stop here a few minutes. I might even drop my pack for a few minutes. Just enjoy the coolness. I have half a mile to a brook that I'm hoping has some water in it. So this is the section the the Far Out app warned you about. The comments do. If I was to go to the right, that would take me down beside the lake, and that's the old AT route, and it gets really muddy and boggy. They have rerouted the AT without doing it in Far Out or putting any really good signs up. But if you look up here, right at the bottom corner, AT reroute, yet not yet marked on Far Out. So if you weren't looking at that, and you didn't realize they even wrote in here, North AT, you wouldn't know to go that way. So I'm glad people have been putting comments in Far Out to give you a heads up to look for this. It is a brand new created trail. And so new, they have not put it in the Far Out app, yet they should have a great big reroute sign, kind of like they did with the detour for that suspension bridge. They had nice signs letting you know that it was a reroute for the detour around that bridge. I have rejoined the AT off that reroute trail, but I am not quite sure where it took place because I didn't see a sign that showed me I was back on it. So now there was a little tree that had a pinkish colored ribbon tied to it, so maybe that was the clue. But I just thought it was kind of funny. I was looking once again for a sign, but I am back on the AT. What I noticed was a change in the trail. It went from that super cleared out look they had to this rooty stuff again. So I had to pull out the map and look on my phone using the app to look at the map. And sure enough, I am back on the trail now. I'm 2 miles from the shelter. I think when I find a nice spot, I'm going to sit down and finish my sandwich that I started at lunch and just didn't finish. I'm going to finish that. It's very warm down here. Okay, I'm going to put away for this because it's boggy and boards are broken and it looks like I'll be stepping on logs. I'm about 1.2 miles from the shelter and the trail is still rooty and rocky. I have not had to rock scramble for a little bit, so this is nice. I should get in there before 5 o'clock, so that'll be nice. Oh yes, we have not quite little pillows for the feet, but almost. A lot of roots underneath here. And I do have to say, the roots are making the bottoms of my feet and my ankles very sore. But something I'm going to have to just take my time with and get used to, break my body into them, because Maine was full of roots last year. Well, northern Maine. From what I understand, southern Maine is going to be like the whites. So a lot of this kind of stuff. Maybe a little bit of trail, but then how the rock scrambles. I hope there will be room in the shelter so I don't have to pitch my tent. I've gotten pretty lazy with that. Much prefer just to stay in the shelter. Of course, that'll depend on the bug situation as well. If there are a lot of bugs flying around and mosquitoes, then I'll pitch my tent. The map shows me this is Upper Gentian Pond. Gention. Upper Gentian Pond. I don't see any moose out here either. Darn. According to the map on the Far Out app on my phone, I am now officially out of the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I'm still in New Hampshire, just not in the White Mountains. Now, that doesn't mean anything's going to change. As you can tell, nothing is going to change. It's going to be a good 118 or so more miles before I'm out of all this kind of climbing and descending. All right, the sign on the other side lets me know that going that way is the Appalachian Trail North. But down here, that Gentian Pond campsite is 0.2 miles to the left. Interesting that somebody's tent is laying here. Huh. But anyway, so I have 0.2 miles to go to get to the campsite. The other one was 5.4 from here, and since it's after 4 o'clock, I'm not going to try and go on. Get off my feet. I want to get off my feet. So this is the pond from which we get the water. Levels are quite low because it hasn't rained in so long. So hopefully this water is going to be okay and I don't have to boil every single bit of it before I can drink it. Oh, this is crazy. Wish I'd known it came from the pond. Maybe I would have. Well, I couldn't have started earlier. It didn't matter. The shuttle drops you off. Is what it is. My legs, I can't go any further. Next place to camp would be 5.4 miles. And I can't go any further. My legs are not going to let me. So who knows, maybe I can come back down here after dinner and take a look, see if there's any moose hanging out. Looks like way at that end, maybe the beavers or muskrats, some animals have built themselves a bigger home. Maybe it's a condominium apartment complex. They've built themselves something down there. There's a placard here that says support for the Gentian Pond campsite has been provided by generous friends of a 1978 end-to-end hiker through a gift to the Appalachian Mountain Club Trails Program Endowment Fund, August of 1986. And this is a view from the front of the hut. Turn around here. Might be too close. I can't back up any farther because of all the bushes there, but this is the front of the hut. I'm the only one in it. There's another AT hiker, but he's pitched his tent. It's actually hi-ho. And there we have over here the eating area. I'm not sure what's down that way. Another access to the pond, maybe, I don't know. And I'm not quite sure. Maybe the privy's over this way. Nope, not sure what's over this way. Maybe the privy's on that other trail.